Good morning. We're back. SGL Online seems like it's taking a little bit of a pause, but I am so excited to bring back the what is the start of the final four of Speedgaming Live spoiler log edition of A Link to the Past randomizer. Top four people, starting off with the elimination match here between Gem and relkin. Two people, absolute titans. Have faced each other before, actually not in this exact tournament, but faced off multiple times. One heck of a match. Absolutely crazy for spoiler log. Going to be super execution based. Hopefully going to get a little bit of good routing and, a little bit of entertainment for us. Going to be one heck of a time. I'm Claire Mouse. Joined with me is the one, the only Dante. Tracking for us is Link Force. Almost seems like SGL 2022 in-person reunion. How's it going?
It does. It does. And this is definitely going to be, I mean, these two played in person at SGL 2022 in the group stage.
That is right. You're right. And yeah, I think Gem's actually maybe looking for a little bit of revenge. relkin actually has quite the record versus Gem. Besting Gem, I believe, also in 2020 SGL. It was like online. It wasn't like officially online, but it was some version of the start. Left Side Swamp is relkin's, I would very dearly call it his guardian angel. Many races, high-profile races, have been won by relkin. Not skipping Left Side Swamp, having, like the one and only, whatever, medallion, big item ticket that has basically saved him from, from the race. Oh, no. Okay.
Jim's already laughing. I think he was trying to get something, since the prize packs are in the spoiler log now. I think Jim was trying to get a potential drop there from a guard, but heading to Saha with no bombs. Oh no.
We're also headed to Eastern with relatively no health. Actually, we do see also, yes, the relkin taking advantage of the bush crab, grabbing a lot of bombs here to take out Mini Moldorm Cave. We love Mini Moldorms with bombs, let me tell you.
Yeah, I was a little worried there. I was wondering why there were two in the middle, and then I realized that the guy on the right decided to jump ship. But
yeah,
relkin does get through it. The sword here going to be super nice. Going to make things a little easier, but we'll see what's in Eastern Palace for Jim.
Yeah, seems like we actually got quite a bit of, a little bit of early divergence. Yeah, the early sword is super nice. These guys probably feel very comfortable. Oh, there's some nice flippers in Sanctuary. Okay, well, good thing we have money in case we need to do a hula hand or something like that. Flippers are not maybe like the most friendly of items, but at least it's something.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll need them. We do see all of our crystals and pendants marked already. Ooh, the flute in Eastern.
Ooh, that is actually a really nice pickup. And in fact, actually, relkin, interestingly enough, did not go rush the flute. We decided to rush Mini Moldorm Cave. And then looks like we're gonna head straight over to Kakariko. So, admittedly, like the flute is buried quite a bit in Crystal Eastern. So maybe relkin's got some other plans for it. Maybe later. Maybe like his overworld traversal in the light world isn't gonna be kind of like worth the extra.
Right.
In this case, like double dip. Of Eastern Palace. We're gonna have to see. What ends up all kind of shakes out.
All right. So relkin just getting the pearl here and has saved and quit from Blind's Hut, so I guess Kakariko may be a little empty today.
Yeah, could be. I mean, it does have a lot of high density, but in this case, because these guys have the spoiler log, it doesn't always have to have something. It looks like, the pearl is kind of the only. Where do we pick up that lamp, by the way? I am noticing.
It's in here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So we've got the lamp. We've got a couple heart pieces. Oh, actually, notably, relkin also picked up the blue boomerang. Like everything basically in Mini Moldorm Cave. One of the things that have really been able to, I guess, been kind of like showcased throughout the different races is those kind of like random things that you might have just picked up along the way. Sometimes they don't always make it into the spoiler log when you go and pick it up. But in this case, heart pieces. If you get 4 of them, they do add up to another heart container. And given how aggressive and how low percent some of these seeds have been, that extra heart container, just like Sank Heart, right, coming out NMG,
right.
For Light World, it is super valuable. So if you can actually kind of finagle your way, pick up some things along the way, it is very beneficial. relkin's already got 4 heart pieces to go with that, just to make a full heart container, right? So already showing some pretty nice safety.
So yeah, Jim now fluting to 7, gonna utilize the bush crab as well, gonna head to Mini Moldorm to get Sword 1. Meanwhile, relkin here being a sword 2 in Hyrule Castle.
Too. So, are your Aga senses tingling, Dancy? Relkin ended his route here in the front of the castle. Is death warping out? We have 2 swords, a lamp, and a pearl.
Yeah.
Any maybe guesses from where else?
It looks like it. Oh, Jim's having... Wow. Okay, Jim gets the 2-for-1. Gonna utilize all the bombs here. Oh no.
No, this is one of the worst feelings. Okay, all right, we're saved. We're saved. Good thing he farmed up all those extra bombs. Oh my gosh, that is moments of panic, you know. And we're talking about actually a lot of spoiler log stuff. It's not based too much on, you know, a lot of like, it's really execution based heavy, right? You have the log, you know where everything is, right? So it's really a matter of, you know, you kind of picking and choosing. A lot of RNG is mitigated, but like bomb mini molder, man, this is just, it just looks terrible. Like
some days
you can't get in 10 bombs, yeah, like you just have to start all over.
Yeah, some days those Moldorms are just like the Olympians, just doing their best. But Jim, you know, given that Jim has invested a little extra time by going into Eastern, you know, looking behind just based on where Relkin is, but like you were talking about earlier, I am kind of curious to see like if that time that Jim invested is going to be mitigated. It depends, I guess, maybe how late this bow is going to end up showing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. And of course, like these guys know, I haven't actually taken a peek as to see where the bows are. But again, like they have 15 minutes to prep. You know, in this case, you know, try to figure out like the log, try to figure out where all the items are, what the best route in order to get the items are, maybe including a couple safeties, you know, depending on. So whatever, you know, decisions that these guys have made, right? Hopefully, you know, they believe is probably going to be like the best, either for them or in, you know, in general, right?
Right, for sure. And I guess Boomerang being in Mini Moldorm, very nice, just because like this is going to make Aga Tower feel a little NMG-esque, sans boots.
True. Looks like actually Gem was maybe potentially, you know, again, I think you know mentioned the prize packs are here in the spoiler log, so Gem probably knows in this case that the guards are in the bomb prize pack. And again, you know, we use a little bit more ammunition than we would have liked to in Mini Moldorm Kane, hoping to get that little extra drop. But you know, again, it's still a little bit of luck based. You know, RNG 50/50s in this case was not favorable, so we're just gonna have to hope that we don't have to make like an extra trip over to Hype Cave or something. Maybe, you know, there'll be something else that'll also drop bombs along the way. If I don't know if we actually need to go into Hype Cave, but if we do need that second bomb.
We do. We definitely do. I mean, he's going to have a lot of opportunity for bombs to show up here. You know, we saw Relkin get a couple drops, so I'm sure Jim will be blessed in that way.
True. Don't even need that lucky shovel for him. All right, yeah, we are actually, looks like it is going to be, you know, okay, good point, Link Force bringing up a very excellent idea that we probably also want a hammer to go over to get into Hype Cave. You're right, we can't just magically float over. We have nothing that can get us over those pegs.
Yeah, I mean, look, Aga Tower, it's very straightforward, very boring. We gotta have something to talk about, right? So,
yeah,
so
true.
The 2-bomb requirement for Hype Cave, that's the talking point right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, and of course, yeah, actually, you know, going through Aga Tower, you did actually mention it is pretty, you know, pretty common, you know, especially for NMG runners. You know, if you play the vanilla game, actually you play even rando, you probably see this fight more often than not. This type of equipment, you know, while the health isn't maybe like the best of situations, we do have that extra, again, 4 heart, the 4th heart container from the 4 heart pieces that Gem and Relkin have basically picked up from Blind's Hut and Mini Moldorm Cave. It could be worse. We could be here on Cape and Fighter Sword and no boots, right? We at least have that Master Sword. So, you know, we actually get a little bit more offensive power. Oh, I'm getting, you know, actually that's a pretty nice big magic drop.
For sure.
Not that we have any real, okay, Gem needs to live first, please. let's not die in Aga Tower. That would be a very painful restart of the tower. No boots, no anything, and especially in spoiler. I think one of the only ways you can kind of quote-unquote make up time in spoiler if you take a death is that you kind of have to hope that your opponent, you know, takes a very similar fate. It doesn't have to be in the same location, but yes, it has to be something in a similar situation where, because again, there's no, you know, like the whole, where is the proverbial ice rod is going to be, you know, a 3-second ordeal in the spoiler log versus like the, you know, 15 to 20 minute potential punt, right, in the actual game.
Yeah. And we are headed directly to Palace of Darkness. So I'm assuming a glove, a hammer, something is going to be over here. I'm sure those out there may have already looked at the log and they know how bad the seed may or may not be, but I don't know. We'll watch it unfold.
Yeah. Very interesting though. So, you know, I was given that Relkin has kind of rushed, well, Aga basically in this case, you know, kind of took the early, you know, route to, you know, go get all of, you know, his sword, pearl, you know, and other sword in this case, that matter. So we are actually just right next door in the other worlds, you know, of Palace of Darkness. You know, and given I was more or less thinking that, you know, at least so far, Relkin hasn't really had to use that flute. So you know, like at least you know so far, if the next route is really gonna go over to Pod, I am also getting curious to see, you know, like. Well, forget it. You know, if there's a bow and a hammer and a mirror here, well, there's a hook shot.
All right, we're out of here.
Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. We're not going to spend any more time here in Pod, but yeah, that's also very important as well. How are we? What does that hook shot open up for us?
The whole left side of Dark World at this point. Oh, the left side.
Yes, that's the only thing I was thinking of, like, well, that's the mountain, but we kind of need a route. We need a way on Relkin's side to get up the mountain. We have no glove, we have no fluke, but yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Now, depending on, you know, what's on the mountain, we could see Jim do it if there's something there.
True.
He does have that flute, so
I am so for the record, Dante and I did take a quick peek as to where the boots are because, well, boots are probably one of the most desired items. Yes.
Yeah.
For many people, especially Jem and Relkin, the good news is that they are in Crystal Swamp Palace. So we did need, in this case, the hookshot, the flippers. We are still looking for that mirror. We do not know when they're going to be able to obtain the boots. Something that I believe everybody here involved, Relkin, Jem, us, Link Force, right? You know, like chat. Hopefully, you know, we're all looking forward to see when these guys can actually, you know, start to use their A button.
I mean, I would assume we just need like a mirror. A hammer would be preferable, but you know, with the recent addition of Specky,
oh my gosh, yeah, that is
that could get us in.
Yeah, I guess for what it's worth, you know, I would like to actually see the hammer just because, well, you know, like, without the hammer, getting to Swamp Palace is kind of a trek, right? Flute or not, because you don't really have that very convenient Dark World portal. But Relkin here, take a little bit more divergence. We're also exploring out Pendant Thieves Town. Cool. Love this game. What is here?
Well, we got a glove. I mean, a glove's nice. True. And a bow, okay.
Oh, and a bow. We're not continuing. Okay, I was like, oh, Relkin's not. Okay, all right. So it looks like actually we don't actually even need that big key. Maybe that is the value of Thieves Town. It's going to be the front four.
All right, Jim fluting away here.
Yeah, so yeah.
All right, he is going to the mountain.
Yeah, no, so very notably so. Hopefully in this case, we're going to, you know, get something good. Meanwhile, yeah, we've got actually quite a bit of divergence. You know, this is actually what we really like to see. Relkin, in a very similar situation as Jem was in Aga Tower. The good news is that both of them did not die.
That's right.
We are also channeling our inner Dunka, or outer Dunka for that matter, you know, if you believe. We are here in Skull Woods without the fire rod. So it looks like we're going to hit that 27% today. Thank goodness for the hook shot and the boomerang.
Oh yeah. The mitts.
Wow.
All right, so both gloves here.
In Dark World, yeah.
And Relkin is saving and quitting. I'm gonna, let's see. Is this? Okay, he looks like he's going to Eastern area maybe now.
This looks like probably Eastern potentially. Yeah, we do have the bow. We do have a clearable dungeon ahead of us. Crystal dungeons ahead of us. So, that is the mirror on Paradox. Okay, so
we saw book and mushroom as well.
Oh, right. Those are also very important items. Link Force is, you know, keeping track of everything for us. Also, Dante, you are. I got very distracted because I was very hyper-focused on that mirror, because that mirror means that is our entry to Swamp Palace. As you mentioned, we do not need the hammer. However, though, how we're going to get to Swamp Palace is a bit more questionable.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how Jim's going to route this. You know, knowing that the one of the two gloves is in Skull Woods. You know, relkin opting to drop in, save, and quit, and not worry about exiting the dungeon. You know, obviously there's keys available, so I'm curious if Jim will be getting that and then getting Thieves as the second on the way down. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, that's actually really interesting. And yeah, so relkin probably in this, as you mentioned, saved a little bit of time just because he got to save and quit. I guess I think we should look up where the rest of the keys are. Like, we could, maybe there's actually one very convenient. How did that boomerang not hit the heat?
Wow.
It just literally like
what
went
a frame
through
roll.
that guy. Oh, wow. Okay, well, the good news is that it's very pacifist. Nobody took any damage, so it was really great. We're just gonna, mosey right along here. But even if Jem can walk out of Skull Woods and go south of Heath down there, it's going to be a little bit slower than relkin for sure.
Okay, so a little bit of difference here. We are at Graveyard Ledge here on Jim's side, the slow way. So something of importance must be here.
Yeah, and I mean, so this is, very efficient, I would consider, forgiven what Jem's decision was, right, to go get the flute, to go get his mirror out of Paradox, right, and then we have to take this route. Looks like, we don't know where the hammer is. Oh, that's pretty important. And imagine the hammer is just actually there. That would have been pretty sick.
Wow.
Yes, but like given what he has to kind of go through this area regardless. So if you have the mirror, right, it's no better time basically to go get this.
I mean, what's good about that for Jim now is that, like, he's routing North Dark World in one go. Relkin obviously gonna have to come back for that at some point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah. So I mean, so the good news is for relkin is that he got both gloves right out of North Dark. There's Valcast and Skullwoods. So once he goes and activates the flute, he can just basically straight head on straight north and to come back in that portal. So it looks like he's going to be able to take a very similar route as well. But yes, it's also again it's very interesting. So right now, relkin saved himself a double dip of Eastern Palace versus Jem, decided to go rush the flute, and then, we're able to kind of use the flute to go get the mirror at least, and then, make a single trip up to North Dark World. It's going to be very interesting, in my opinion, to basically see like kind of how all this all shakes out.
These are the fun, like the fun spoiler seeds where they're not going on the exact same path.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you don't, it's like, we still don't know, like, obviously they know where everything is, but it's not the set route like, say NMG or a linear spoiler log seed, where they're just neck and neck the whole time and you can tell who's in the lead. This keeps it exciting.
Oh yeah, for sure. It also does kind of let you show, ooh, Gem, very interesting. So this is something that relkin actually did not pick up. Both values of items in Skull Woods here actually arguably very, very valuable here, especially in spoiler. We got an extra heart container that relkin actually did not pick up. So I'm actually kind of curious now to see if that extra safety, right, is gonna be beneficial here for Gem's investment. Relkin, well, actually, wait, did he get that too? Maybe he did, and I just missed it.
he didn't get that. Are you talking about the heart container? Because no, he did not.
Okay.
But relkin and Backup Escape, this is the first we'll be seeing of this. And a tempered sword, another heart container.
All right, well that's super worth it. That heart container literally is super free. Very, very nice. Yeah. Oh wait, relkin got a heart container in Eastern.
Oh yeah, the big chest.
Yeah, this is why we have Link Force, as our tracker. Yeah, so maybe he was willing to. Maybe Gem was not willing to, in this case, go all the way to go get the big key or something like that. Because he just stopped short
I'm assuming Jim has that big key, but like, there's no point in going to that room when you're going to go to it later because
that's true. That's true.
All right, relkin going to activate his flute, and then I'm assuming he'll go up the mountain. I guess I'm kind of curious to see now, will relkin go to Dark Mountain for any reason? Is there an item there that maybe Jim is foregoing for the time being? We're doing Smith Chain.
We got Smith Chain as well. Looks like relkin is, relkin's going to, basically kind of follow suit in this particular case. So, right, the main difference here is, at least, is that relkin has Eastern Palace completely cleared with the crystal, but he's lacking the mirror that Gem has, which he is going to go get right now. And Gem decided to double dip Eastern for that early flute, and hopefully in that case the investment will pay off. Gem's looking to.
Okay.
What a hammer! Wow.
All right, so this is probably this is the play to go get that tempered sword, and then we'll worry about Swamp Palace probably directly after.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. In this case, right, Omega playableness, both for relkin and Gem, super comfort level, but it looks like actually with the hammer, with the mirror, with the hookshot, with the flippers, with Temper Sonar to kill Argus, Gem is all ready to go to set and take out Swamp Palace and go pick up his boots. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a really nice time.
Right, there's that mushroom, still to be determined if we need that. Maybe picking it up. There's that like off chance you could use it for fake powder or a fake powder for safety, but I'm assuming if these guys are getting it, they're gonna need it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you actually do bring up a very nice point. Sometimes mushroom is actually a very viable safety. A lot of, I think, budding NMG runners potentially like to pick it up, especially when they first start out, or trying to wean themselves off of the real powder.
Right.
Real powder, takes up a lot of time. Oh, but yeah, that's definitely very, very important. That fire rod. Potentially, Relkin is actually looking to save maybe a little bit of time. Getting the fire rod before Swamp Palace.
He could, in theory.
Yeah, because it can save some time in phase 2, right? But I guess, again, we know where the boots are. I don't know how much time difference is going to be. Maybe, boots aren't going to be that big of a deal. Turning in, like, the fire rod for the mushroom.
No. So we'll probably see Relkin do Smith Chain down into, for his hammer, down into Swamp. But Jim, now in Swamp Palace, does have 5 bombs. Does have a full thing of magic with the cane.
Oh,
so
you're right. Bombs
should be. Now you can always get a couple bombs in here. There's 2 pots. That top one, or near the top one and near the bottom one. Those have bombs. So you can bail yourself out, but if you walk past them, then your bailout's over.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, right, we actually do need at least 1 bomb into utilize this newly legalized Specky Clip. Kind of it is also considered sequence breach because in theory now you can do Swamp Palace without the hammer, as we have actually demonstrated maybe just how terrible and cursed the Argus fight is without a sword, without a hammer, because now you can in fact have that situation.
You can, yes.
But of course, even if you have the hammer, it does save you, I believe, Ari said it was 22 seconds, or at least that's the consensus, that you don't have to go and drain the dam and pick up the key and all that, all that fun jazz, or unfun jazz for that matter.
Yeah. All right, magic powder.
Yeah, real powder. Super convenient safety. All right, I'm waiting for these boots. They're coming up. There they are. We are playing. We are playing the game now.
Can press A, and everyone had a good time.
Don't you just feel better, Dante, when you see somebody with boots?
A little bit, but I'm still curious to kind of see where these two are going to shake out here. Relkin's got a dungeon done, but he's basically a full swamp behind Jim. So I don't know, a lot of those rooms in Eastern that Relkin has done can benefit from these boots that Jim has now. So
yeah, for sure. And yeah, also because kind of pointed out in chat as well is that in addition to having to basically clear out the rest of Swamp Palace, that is a gap, or at least technical progression gap. Relkin also does need to go pick up his Cane of Samaria from Graveyard Ledge. Now, granted, he will have the boots to do that. Maybe most likely not routed in when he goes over to Skull Woods and clears that crystal. But again, it's still a little bit of a time gap, right? And it's all kind of shaken on, or kind of bent on the initial investment time difference, right? That Gem decided to go into Eastern Palace early for the flute, versus and then basically just try and get as much movement as he can possible, and kind of rushing the boots here for that matter as well. Alright, so yeah, we're not basically going to see all of the stuff that Gem is going to do with the boots that Relkin kind of did without. And again, this particular turn-in isn't going to be too big of a deal with or without boots. Probably just a handful of seconds difference, if that even.
Yeah. I doubt we see Jim go pod here, but if we did, well, I'm a liar. I was going to say that would put us at even, but relkin does not have that cane yet. So still not going to really see where everything shakes out just yet. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, looks like it. So we actually do have a reason to come over here. Looks like there is actually booths were logically required. We are seeing here in Bonk Rocks. Maybe not logically required. I was speculating, but that's a very nice pickup. For you know, seems very easy in order to go get get silvers.
You want that. I mean, you've got a helmet fight. You've got land mows. You want to do land mows the correct way with the silver arrows. That's going to make Jim's Eastern fight better, and then of course, you know, into Mire, that's always faster too. So
yeah, I am kind of curious to see though. So Jim specifically went over to Bonk Rocks to go get the silvers, and then we're headed straight up to looks like the mountain. You know, most likely it's going to be a Heraclear. Or whatever else is going to be up here. Yeah. Like, we could actually, in theory, go back and kill Skull Woods, right? Maybe just continue. Yeah. But I mean, it's all up to him. Maybe it's faster actually to go Flute to 3 anyway. I've never timed any of this stuff. I would probably never question any of these guys' decisions because they probably all know the timing's better.
So yeah, relkin there did seem to. I don't think Jim got the 0 cycle. Maybe he did.
I saw
relkin did. So it's a little bit of time in relkin's pocket. So if he's watching the restream or watching Jim's stream, you know, knowing what Jim may or may not have done at this point, you know, kind of set the nerves down just a little bit.
Yeah, talk about nerves though, Jim.
Jim! Oh, I'm so scared.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Everything's fine. Everything's fine. There was many moments of panic, but luckily, you know, Jim, cool as a cucumber. I handled the fight. Everyone is happy, you know, except Moldarm, which he does not deserve to be happy after that fight. So.
All right, deep cleansing breath from everybody. Right now, we can get back to the action. So relkin heading to get his Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, and actually looks like, and potentially with this mirror, relkin can also route in Bonk Rocks as well. Hey, look, it's Ether. Vanilla Ether. Link Force has marked it that it is our medallion entry into Misery Mire. So what else actually do we need anything else? Are we done? Looking at the tracker?
I think we're all good. This is Dungeon Cleanup City at this point.
Yeah, it looks like it. So when we were talking about, you know, trying to maybe get some synchronization on these guys, right, where they've kind of completed out and trying to get the same route, it might be GT.
Yeah.
All things considered here, we've taken some pretty different routing in order to go get some of our early movement items. And then, you know, right now it is kind of a runner's discretion. You know, once you, in this case, hit your actual collections go mode, right? You have all the items you need in order to beat the seed. You don't need anything else. It's kind of, you know, up to just what they want to do and into what order of dungeons they want to complete.
Yeah, and most of the scary dungeons in spoiler, like, you know, granted there are things that could go wrong, but the super scary ones, like, are pendants or, you know, kind of non-factors here with silver arrows.
Yeah, that's true. Guys, we got the early lamp. I mean, maybe that is a benefit, you know, for many people involved. I mean, okay, you know what? Probably also relkin and Gem, even though they are like more than comfortable with the dark rooms. That lamp is going to probably save them a little bit of time in, you know, pod basement, mire basement. They're very capable of doing it, but you know, I don't know if you can get much faster than actually being able to see where you're going, as opposed to we're just gonna, you know, go for some setups, you know, some normal strats that they're just kind of used to.
Yeah. And granted, these guys, you know, both of these guys are making this look super easy.
I know, and they are.
The thing to keep in mind, like, if you haven't seen any of these spoiler matches, I mean, this is top 4. We're in the lower bracket or the losers bracket, ever how you want to phrase it. But, like, this is, like, 2 of the last 4. Gamachu is waiting whoever wins this race, and then whoever wins Gamma versus the winner of this is gonna, you know, have to beat Andy twice in the grand finals. So, like, you know, those are 4 amazing names, amazing runners that are left in this tournament.
Yeah, this is probably, I mean, you know, like, if you ask somebody, you know, to give, like, let's say, like, their top 5, right? Or maybe, like, top 10. I mean, these 4 guys, like, that you mentioned, Gem, relkin, Gamma, and Andy, like, they would probably be in everybody's like top 5 at this point, right? You know, or like, you know, some combination of that. It is like these guys are like the absolute best of the best.
Pretty decent moth fight there for Relkin. Jim has his big key headed to the back. Gonna let this wall move all nice and slow.
Yeah, whether intentional,
not fast.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not fast ROM. This is still on the tournament branch. This is also not fast walls. I don't think fast walls has actually been ever a mainstream branch thing in rando. I do know, I know it exists, but you know, it's certainly not going to be, I guess, in the main spotlight anytime soon. Although you never know, you know, with maybe V32 coming out, V31 point whatever 3 next branch, yeah, you know. All kind of depends on what the community / dev team is interested in.
All right, let's see if Relkin picks up. Oh, he got a long talk, and he's mad about it. I'd be mad too.
Relkin, oh he is. Okay, it's only a couple extra text boxes. It's fine. We are. Relkin, you know, just needs, you know, a little bit of pep talk, you know, from the big pink ball before he takes on Hera. Surely, you know, Moldorm will no longer be a jerk to him.
All right, in the Helma fight, 17 hammer hits to take off the mask. He gets the silver arrow delivered. Meanwhile, Relkin with his Hera pot. This is going to make the crystal count 3-3. Relkin going to basically get his 4th here. Both in this go mode, except Relkin. He does have to get this ether right when he leaves here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got the same exact actually situation. Moldorm kind of knocking both Relkin and Gem kind of off the side, but Relkin, again, masterful takedown of Moldorm. All right, yeah.
That kind of the scary sections for Gem of that fight, and then Relkin kind of getting it somewhat cleanly. Maybe offsets his long talk.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean, overall, you know, as you mentioned, Relkin also had a very solid moth fight. Whether intended or not, he also did take a little bit of damage right before dropping in, just so he doesn't have to have those pesky sword beams. When facing Mothfield, we definitely want the temper sword damage versus the fighter sword damage. So that's definitely also saved him. Well, at least, you know, okay.
Oh no, we missed the bird.
Did you know that running towards the bird doesn't save time sometimes? You know what? Boyne is always right. Just listen to whatever Boyne says. Just wait for the bird. All right. You know, it's not, you know, Uber, whatever, pool. You know, it is actually just, you know, like have the bird come to you. You don't need to go to the car.
Sure. So I mean, just if you do, just walk. You know, just
that's
walk.
That's right. Yeah.
It just kind of shows like what these two know about each other. They're both trying to squeeze like as much time in the smallest increments of frames that they can. Jim is gonna not forego this, so you know, that could be a little time saved, but gonna decide to pick that up. It's pretty free.
Yeah, and you know, again, like and that extra heart container. Oh, real nice boomerang uses there on jump side, man. You love to see something like that. Basically, saving them a little bit of extra time here in the back of Eastern Palace. Only really doable with tempered and with boomerang and boots, most likely. So that's something that Relkin definitely was not able to execute on. No, but yeah, like I mean, these guys top-notch execution. We are actually seeing really like their full ability put on here display. You know, with the boots, with tempered. More or less also with silvers, but I mean, like, these guys are
All right, so I mentioned Relkin knocking his crystal count up to 4. Jim's about to do the same thing here in the Armos fight here in Eastern. All of them go down, and crystal number 4 for Jim. Yeah,
and Relkin is, as you mentioned, making his way towards crystal number 5. So, and keep in mind, so while it may look like Gem is, you know, just slightly behind in terms of crystal pickups, which is true. There are, you know, so the dungeons that Gem has left, in this case it's going to be Mire, which is what Relkin is also doing. He also has Skull Woods and Desert, which are arguably a little bit shorter than Pod. It actually did look like the big key was all the way in the Root B basement, so Relkin does have to be, he'll spend a little bit more time. So, but again, like, we don't know how much time difference it is. We also have seen that boss execution, you know, again, has actually played a, you know, non-trivial role in terms of their dungeon completion times as well. Gem, unfortunately, getting a little body there from Moldorm. so it took a little bit longer. Got the 1 cycle versus the Relkin 0 cycle. Again, Relkin, got some large talk and then missed the bird. All of these things are, man, even with the best, execution, sometimes, things just happen out of your control.
Yeah, for sure. I'd probably, a very conservative estimate would be, say, like Relkin lost maybe about 5 to 7 seconds with the large talk plus bird miss. I'm sure there are people in chat or other runners who could tell me exactly the amount of time it takes. But yeah, like every little bit counts here.
Yeah, nice, easy breezy Silver's fight on Vitreous for Relkin. So that is crystal number 5. So he is going to go and pick up Palace of Darkness as his 6th, pod and then Desert. And meanwhile, Gem is looks like maybe about halfway through Mire.
Yeah, I genuinely hope that he does Desert now and not Pod now, and then coming back to Desert.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yes.
But we'll see.
The extra trip, yes. Why save the extra trip into Mire or make the extra trip into Desert? We are literally just a mirror away from the back. For what it's worth, that extra heart container maybe making things a little bit more comfortable for Gem in Spike Room. Yeah, you can never have too much health in Mire. This is what I've learned through many arrays and randomizers. So, but I guess this is also spoiler log from Gem versus Relkin. You maybe got a go big or go home. Relkin, I won't necessarily say is infamous, but I mean he is. Whether or not he's comfortable with it, I've seen him do 3 heart hammer blind in spoiler log before as part of his races. Not even picking up a heart container in chess game of all places, like for that extra safety. He just dove straight in, So this guy is.
You do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm. All right, you think we're just gonna get regular arrows today? I'm thinking that they're probably not gonna use anything else except silvers, probably for for the foreseeable future. Good on, basically, by the way, for Relkin and Gem, I would say, to kind of keep a track of their resources. We did get a little bit of a scare earlier, for Gem outside of Mini Moldorm Cave, or after, basically taking down that place. But, so one thing about Silver Arrows, like you think Vitreous is more than doable. We've got Silvers for Landmos, right? Like, super fast fight, you're very comfortable. The important part is that you still need arrows for that quiver and to use the bow. If you are there, suddenly with maybe 6 or 7 arrows, for Vitreous, or maybe you run out halfway through, like suddenly, not only of course are you very probably like flustered that you didn't expect that type of, you didn't expect it to be out of resources, but also like now you're trying to panic to see like, okay, well now how do I take down the rest of it? None of the setups are, familiar, probably. You're probably just trying to scramble like, okay, well I guess I can just sword spin him. Something, right? Like it's definitely gonna be much slower.
Yeah. All right, Relkin heading to Pod. This will be number 7 for him. We'll finally see where the two shake out and have the epic conclusion in Ganon's Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Heads up play there by Jim to refill some arrows in that room while picking up that key.
Yeah.
Good pot knowledge there.
Yeah, actually, he got both pots actually for the arrows. I don't know if and they're like super close to each other. For what it's worth, there is also another 5 arrow pot right here in before Landmos. Given that he's on 18 arrows at this point, probably doesn't need it. And maybe like that second pot, is a little bit faster, just also because you're still quick swapping over to the mirror, so you have a little bit of extra time regardless.
Yeah, I forgot with Pod that Relkin has to do right side and go to the back. I know you mentioned the back, but going to
is there another key here? Is that?
Yeah, we got the hook shot in the first chest, so you have to go right side.
Right. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, there is not even a shortcut that you can take, right? Because normally the shortcut still involves having that extra key.
Right. So yeah, 2 keys on right side here. 3 silver arrows for Jim, and for Landmos. I don't know, a little salty fight there.
Mm-hmm. All right, but yeah, but you know, so in terms of execution though, Relkin is not giving Gem any inch whatsoever. Basically, like he has been doing quite well this entire seed. And Gem though, on the other hand, he is absolutely flying towards the end of the seed as fast as he possibly can. Did see that we are leaving Skull Woods for the absolute last portion, you know, of the seed. So right, it is kind of now the this is really good. Dante, like, do you have an estimate for who you think might kind of shake out on top? Now being the first to go?
If Jim has a super clean moth fight, I wanna say maybe him, but I want to say Helma also had favorable RNG for getting a lot of hammer hits in, but I don't know.
This is very close. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, right. So like Relkin is headed to the back right now, of course, like the pod, right? So it is like the bad at the back is deceptively long. So I mean, you know, Gem is already, you know, versus like the back of Skull Woods, we've actually seen, you know, it is also long, but it's probably not as long as it might initially like appear to be. But again, like this is very close.
So Jim's setting up, getting favorable RNG from the fire bar there. That's key there. Gonna get that key dash.
Yeah.
Does have full health here, does need to take a bit of damage if he wants to get the optimal strat in this upcoming mummy key room. Probably gonna have to opt for Fire Rod here, or okay, Silver Arrow, perfectly timed.
Yes, exactly. All right, thank you, Ravis. That was one of his life lessons, that if you do actually have silvers, and I think the full thing was also with the red boomerang, so you can actually go and pick up the key, but silvers are actually objectively faster. All right.
So yeah, Jim in the fight early and gets a good fight. So
yeah, that's real good.
This is going to be Jim coming out with a little bit of a lead. I want to say a lot of Relkin's like execution has been spot on in some places. So I think the double dip of Eastern actually probably was worth it time-wise.
Yeah, actually, that's really what it looks like as well. Not only mentioned Forest Gem, also ended up taking a little bit of extra time getting that extra safety from Skull Woods as well, right? So yeah. I mean, like, and you actually maybe can see maybe that extra safety, for what it's worth, allow Gem to be a bit more aggressive. Like, he basically was acting like he had red mail versus Mothula. Like, the first hit was probably intentional, like in that he probably needs, you know, as you mentioned, take damage, right, to get rid of the sword beams. But man, he just, you know, rammed himself in, right, basically to try and get as much hits as he can. Whether or not he was willing to do that with one fewer heart container, we don't know. But again, you don't need to worry about that now. Like, that is your, like, you execute with what you have. So
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of game left here, too.
Oh, for sure.
Ganon's Tower. On green mail, we're sitting at 7 hearts. If you have to go deep, you know, for the big key, and then deep, obviously, to climb, it could be a little treacherous.
Yeah, I was actually kind of curious to see what route they would take also to go get to GT, like Undark Death Mountain. Looks like it's going to be very similar. Gem and Relkin are both taking Super Bunny in this particular case. I mean, Turtle Rock is a pendant, yeah. So like, there's kind of like no reason in this case to kind of open up that portal and then kind of hop down. But you know, again, like you don't know, like I guess like this route, you know, like you don't know like what these guys want to do. But yeah, oh man, this was, I mean, so again, this actually really does highlight, you know, kind of how divergent like the routes can be. You know, just in terms of, you have the same information, you have the same 15 minutes, you have, I won't necessarily say like equally, you know, skilled people. At least from my perspective, they are so good, like so far away, I can't really tell the difference sometimes. But you know, like, but we had such a different results, you know, just in terms of gameplay, in terms of execution. Well, maybe not just equipment, but like the routing was significantly different.
All right, Jim heading left side. Relkin opening the tower.
All right, yeah, it looks like nobody also mentioned 25 seconds in terms of time rub. I really wish I kept track of GT entry. Okay, all right, looks like though we have another, okay, so maybe a little bit of RNG affected. Mahoba, I hope I said that right, was maybe, cut into Gem's lead a little bit. All right, but we do have an early big key in Stephos room.
Yeah, we do have silvers, you know, so fairly safe climbing this, but again, 6 and 7 hearts. Not the most ideal scenario, especially even for NMG runners. So we'll see how this goes for folks.
And we might be here with, maybe like twice as much health in NMG, versus like what they have now.
Yeah, solid mimics 1 and 2 from Jim. Not wasting any time there. Is going to get the key dash in here. Relkin being a little aggressive, probably knowing he has to be.
Yeah, very also interesting, right? And so again, as you mentioned, GT execution, that's actually one highlight of a difference. Jem has, especially in spoiler log, done a slightly slower strat in that puzzle room before mimics. So he only takes 1 heart of damage. Really does help him keep a little bit of extra health here. When he approaches the gauntlet. Relkin probably did some combination, I guess, of like the fast strat where you lose 3 hearts. Versus having Burna. No. I'm so sorry.
I respect what he tried there. It just didn't work out.
And it's really unfortunate that we have Burna, as opposed to like the cape. So again, this is the tournament branch. This Burna's full-on effects for lag is very much felt on Relkin's side right now. With maybe, cape, it won't probably be as bad just because you don't have to incur that extra time cost. But with Burna, unfortunately, that is something that, if you don't want to lose health on, that is something you're going to have to pay.
All right, Landmo door closing at 4450 for Jim.
Really
gets
nice there.
The 1 cycle, not giving up any time. Relkin not having the Ancilla variable ready to go, unfortunately. Down to 1 heart. This is not what you want to see.
This is scary.
Oh no, dude.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so very heartbreaking for Relkin. Holy cow.
You hate to see it.
You really do. You really, really do. That was so rough. And again, it was just like a everything just got exacerbated, right? Ever since I guess that switch room, right? You got a little bit maybe of. And yeah, so Relkin, still needs to get through this room, taking, again, on very, very low health going into the gauntlet. We've got some shenanigans with, like, the switch room, because you kind of go back and forth, and then if you don't have a good gauntlet, things can just spiral out of control so quickly.
And see, like, this is one of the factors of spoiler log, and, like, how unique it can be in the randomizer world, where, the runners are allowed to watch their opponent for once. So, like, knowing that he was behind, potentially, I'm speaking for him, assuming he's watching this in some capacity, but knowing he was behind, playing super aggressive here in GT just to try to make up as much time as possible. Like you have to respect that, I think.
Oh, for sure. No. In fact, you are playing to your win condition, right? That's, like if you just kind of decide to, I don't know, like maybe not make any differences, like things kind of go as they were accordingly. You may not come out with the victory on top. So you have to kind of do something, right? I mean, like, like the worst case is that you do something and then like you still lose, right? It's like, okay, well, I tried, right? So it's gonna get that heart. Okay. Relkin boomerang the heart, and I was like, I don't know if he's gonna get it before the transition.
Oh, not again, dude.
Okay, we made it. Okay, we have safety here in the powder. Again, one of the, very, like, one of the probably best rated safeties. Oh, nice.
All right, nice 1 cycle there. Yeah. All right, Agatu down for Jim. All that stands in the way
is one Ganon. Yeah,
is one Ganon.
Again, don't ever count your fire bass before they're launched. Ganon is not an easy boss. In particular, I'm sure he has history with many players. Jem is absolutely actually no exception. For better or for worse, probably for worse. We are always going to hope for the best for both Jem and Relkin.
All right, into phase 2 for Jim. Gets a double spin in. That counts as 4. Needs 12 total slashes. Does get enough here. We're going to be into phase 3. Now, we've seen Jim in high-pressure speed gaming live scenarios in Ganon before. I don't want to bring it up, but I'm going to. A Ganon fall could bring Relkin back into this, but I don't know if it'll be enough.
You are absolutely correct. Oh, but we are potentially going to get a little bit of time saved here on relkin's side, getting past the hookshot requirements, saving ourselves a little bit of extra time. Nicely done, relkin. Yeah, relkin 2022, I believe the winning, like the final seed was hookshotless, bowless. Relkin pulled out every trick in the book in order to take the title.
And get your GGs in chat for Jim.
Gonna be GGs.
Taking the spoiler race.
Yeah, extremely formidable opponent in Broken. Gem takes the victory, played extremely well. Very, very solid route, very top tier execution, and very well deserved win.
We'll see if we get these guys.
What a relief, you know? For probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can get these guys in for a quick chat. As relkin basically is going to drop down into his own Ganon fight.
All right, while relkin is taking on Ganon, we do have Jim here. GG's.
Yo, Jim, GG's. Well played.
Yeah, thank you.
So I guess like how much were you kind of keeping tabs on the race on relkin's side? Off and on?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
Well, I checked that dagger too, and then I saw that I didn't need to take any risks, but that's basically it.
I see. Yeah. So, you know, so for all of the stuff, everything that you did, you know, kind of seemed to work out for you. So, probably the biggest difference that we had noticed on early game was that you rushed the flute in Eastern. Relkin decided to basically just rush Aga, and then when he basically went over, you know, after he picked up the bow from Beastown, that's when he went back to Eastern and like basically cleared it one go.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
very
reasoning,
divergent.
Yeah, my reasoning was that I basically want the boots as early as possible, and you need the flute to get up the mountain, to get your mirror, to get into Swamp, and to also get your hammer and stuff and everything while you're at Thieves. And yeah, that was basically my reasoning. Like, why delay it when I can just, when I need it, kind of need it anyway, if I don't want to delay boots. So just go there first, get your stuff as early as possible, and yeah.
Alright, get your G's out in chat for relkin, finishing up a very, very nicely done Ganon fight. We are also joined by relkin himself. GG's relkin.
Hey, GG's relkin.
Okay. That is such a... Yeah, so we didn't actually get this far. His Gem said that he did not keep tabs on the race until Aga 2, so unfortunately, with down one heart container versus you, Gem, relkin unfortunately had to take a dive in. He got sniped by a fireball in
I don't understand why. So I guess I didn't reset my spooky because the fire rod didn't kill the Stalfos, and that just ruined the whole room. And so I just went off the wall from there, all the rails.
Yeah, that happened to me too, but I had a lot of health buffer still, so I could recover it.
Word of the wise: throw your boomerang if you haven't. If you think you haven't, throw it.
Yeah, that's really smart.
So I want to ask relkin, in GT, were you watching? Did you know your standing going into the final part of the seed here?
Yeah, like I knew I was behind, and the death honestly didn't matter because Jim didn't mess up at the end, so I'm not too hurt about it.
Yeah, because like the thing I was watching and kind of commenting on was like you played GT Climb super aggressive, and it just made me feel like you were playing kind of, as Clear Mouse put it, to your win condition at that point. So I wanted to ask only because we were kind of inferring that.
Yeah, I knew I was behind by like 20 seconds, and so I had to, go all gas, no brakes. Right, Denty?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. So, Jim, this is going to put you moving on, playing against Gambitchu here in the loser finals. Any thoughts? Did you play Gamma in the winter side or no?
No, I played Andy and lost to him.
Okay.
And I promised Andy to play him in the finals, so guess I gotta win the next race too.
Well, I guess you do. If you promised it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna have definitely a tough one to go through there in Gamma. Like Gamma, I think Gamma runner-up in this tournament last year, so against Selga, and like, man.
Yeah, that's a very, very scary matchup.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. And on top of Gamma just being a pretty scary opponent, I also have a record of throwing against Gamma, just to make it even harder.
Dude, same.
Back in a Pilot Spoiler tourney, I was ahead going to Ganon, but then died on Ganon, and then during, while Spoiler was on ladder last season, I think that's 2 seasons ago at this point. I think like every time I got matched up with Gamma, I made some stupid mistake and lost because of it.
No.
So, but surely that just means I got them all out of the way, right? And this time I'll finally best him.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you guys schedule this, and I'll look forward to watching that one for sure.
Yeah, and I think, did you mention something about maybe trying to schedule that match like this weekend, Jen?
Yeah, that's probably necessary, because we're in like the worst time zones, with Gamma being on West Coast and me being in Europe. And since this tourney has to be over next weekend, I probably will have to play in this weekend, considering the next time we could probably find time would be next weekend, and that would be pretty late, considering maybe 2 other matches need to be played afterwards.
I'm sensing a 4 a.m. start time. 4 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Europe, and 1 a.m. Pacific time coast.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna message Gamma after this, and we'll see what his schedule is like.
Well, definitely best of luck. Yeah, and all of the Omega playableness, for your upcoming spoiler races, hopefully.
Thank you.
Yeah, relkin, amazing showing, by the way, like for this entire tournament. I mean, you played extremely well today. Sorry about the large talk. I don't know if that was just you also got your little pep talk though before Moldorm, before.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. After my race against Humbug, where Moldorm just like absolutely ate my lunch. Gotta have some nice positive thoughts beforehand. That obviously that didn't cost the race either. That was like 8 seconds. Forget how long it takes for him to stop talking, but that was a feels bad moment for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you guys so much though for racing. I mean, what a rematch. I think I know you guys played in SGL before, not in this particular tournament, but it's this matchup is exceedingly amazing. So really glad to see all the back and forth. So.
This would be our 3rd SGL matchup in total.
Okay.
I think this is also the first time I've beaten you in a tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, good job.
I think usually it is.
Well, if you're gonna be at SGL Live 2020, coming up, relkin, might be maybe another rematch can happen.
Yeah, we'll get
groups again.
We'll get paired in groups again. Be a great time. You'll impersonate Gerdo, and then Gerdo impersonate you.
No, Gerdo isn't coming, so I will just be Gerdo, and nobody can take that name from me. To make things easier.
Alright, well, thank you guys again so much for racing. I was looking forward to this race all week, so certainly thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, and then I guess whatever you schedule your race, Jem, I guess we'll be on the lookout for that.
Thanks again for the restream, guys. And a final thought, I guess, would be definitely don't mind losing the gym. And it looks like this seed came down to which of the 2 routes you chose, either get your flute early or get your mirror early. And looks like mirror early, it barely beats out flute. And so I'm like hard to really like tell what's going to be faster when you're doing it for the first time. If this is like a monthly spoiler challenge, you're like, okay, well, you can compare after a bit, and then you'll find out that, oh, I guess getting mirror early is faster. But it's just one of those things. It's like hard to really determine what is the best route when you're doing a seed for the first time like this. But yeah, don't mind losing it all to Jim. He's a beast.
Yeah, if it was the reverse, I'd say the same thing. Relkin also definitely a beast. Like we mentioned earlier, it's the first time I finally managed to beat him in a tournament, so I'm really stoked about that. So yeah, GG's, man. Was awesome playing you.
Yeah, dude.
And thank you for the commentary, you too, and for the tracking infos. Yeah, always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Link Force. Yeah, again, we mentioned this at the very beginning of the broadcast. Like, this is basically SGL reunion, you know? Like, everyone was there last year, 2022. Hopefully, you know, we can make this happen in 2023. I think it'd be pretty dang amazing. Link Force, of course, always, like, she was in-person tracking. Oh man, what a force. What a phenomenon for us. Like, always, like, up on top of everything, giving us all the clues, including today. So thank you so much. Really do appreciate it.
Was that supposed to be a pun?
It was not intended, but then the words came out, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just roll with it. Yeah, but Dante, thank you. This was a blast as always.
Oh yeah, pleasure as always. It was a good race. GG's again to both Jim and Relkin, and looking forward to seeing how this whole tournament shakes out.
Yeah, until then, have a great rest of your day.